Let's see if we get it. And yes, we are live. Those of you who want to follow us live, it's on my Facebook page, Philip Edward Alexander, and it's on Facebook. Thanks a lot for having me, Kevin.
All right, so did you see the Prime Minister's interview last night?
I refused to watch it. I saw snippets and I realized that it is exactly what I thought it was going to be, stunt work.
It was the same time as yours was going.
Yeah, but we got a good following. But I realized it was going to be stunt work, him hitting on the journalists, asking out for drinks and all that foolishness. All of that's supposed to distract the nation. We were supposed to wake up this morning in an uproar. And I want to applaud the people of Trinidad and Tobago for leaving that nonsense right there. All the foolishness.
Of it are spreading already.
No. That's not viral. People not taking him on. People not taking it on. Trinidad has rejected it. And I am proud of Trinidad and Tobago for the way they handled it, that they left that foolishness right where he put it.
Yeah, I see some of it. I mean,
but driving here, I was listening to the repeat of the debate in the Parliament, in the Senate, with regards to the motion laid in Parliament with regards to suspension of AV oil pending investigation. The fact that that is still being discussed shows you how broken this country is. The fact that this is not a fraud squad investigation by the police shows how broken this country is. This information that was leaked in the was actually as a result of a Petrotrin internal audit. And so Petrotrin already had the information. Petrotrin was already aware that the amount of oil that AV oil said they sent did not match up with the amount of oil that Petrotrin received. And that's what it is. And it wasn't like one day. It wasn't like you sent to buy $6 of chicken and chips and you get 5, so you're one short. It was over the course of months, and a lot of it went on, and they realized it's been going on since 2016 or before. So it is obvious. The fact that they've not yet been suspended raises a lot of red flags. The country needs to understand, where is the leadership and the management in this country? Petrotrin is the country's #1 most important. Petrotrin is Trinidad's, and between Petrotrin and National Gas Company, they are the most important commercial enterprises in this country. The fact that AV oil had not been suspended immediately pending a more thorough investigation shows that we do not take these things seriously.
Like I said, the gentleman is back at Petrotrin.
The man who received the oil.
Yeah.
You see, you for defamation. And I could say that what you said, in my mind, defamed me. And that has to go before a court. But long before it gets before the court, there is a lot of back and forth between lawyers that costs a lot. Or the DPP will write you back and let you know if their jurisdiction. They will also tell you in the letter that it's the Commissioner of Police for investigation. So the DPP at least responds. But there's nobody that you can go to. So people have now no real redress. And that's a problem.
What concern to me is that the court system is being abused with lengthy delays and pushing. And this is causing a problem for everybody else who has maybe a legitimate reason to be in the court.
And this was leading me to that point, that if I sue you for defamation, there is no bar that I have to, there is no burden of proof for me to prove to the court that this is an actual case. I don't have to prove to the court in any way. There is no minimum threshold. There is nothing. I could sue you, and we could go back and forth for years, and own selfish feelings and their own selfish needs, and the country could be damned. Where are the activist lawyers? Where are the lawyers to say, where are the judges? Where are the retired activist judges Look at the amount of effort put into trying to get their pension increased by the judges. Those judges know, a lot of those judges came out of the same legal fraternity and they know the system is broken. Understand?
Yes.
We have had cases run through the system last longer than the career of a lawyer. We've had cases and there are no caps and there is no redress. All it sees in this country is old talk, old noise and bacchanal. That's why the parliament and what takes place in the parliament and what's broadcast on the parliament channel has become the theatre that it is, because it's a set of finger pointing and a set of mark busting and a set of name calling under privilege.
Yes.
And then nothing. And then nothing. Something else will come up and distract the nation. But Vicky was never supposed to be a national issue. What's supposed to be the national issue? Not Vicky and where she went and who she went with. What's supposed to be the national issue is the ease with which she came out.
Yes, it should be.
And who is being held responsible for that?
I think the wrong people being held responsible for this.
What is a
They
national?
helped, but I don't think they
What is a national issue is that we can't manage a fraud accused. She's accused of fraud. You don't jail somebody for fraud until you prove that because we don't have a system in this country.
Because she believe she's going to leave. She's a flight risk.
Okay, but the only reason she could be a flight risk is that because everybody charges a flight risk. The only reason that she could be a flight risk is because we admit that we don't control our own borders.
That's true.
That it is that easy to leave or come into Trinidad and Tobago. We have no secure borders. Last night, the snippets of what I heard that was discussed with the Prime Minister at his midterm, all of them had nothing to do with the realities that face the average person in Trinidad and Tobago in their day-to-day life. The availability of foreign exchange, the disproportionate allocation of foreign exchange, big businesses getting foreign exchange to bring in hundreds of millions of dollars worth of cars, but a small person can't get 200 US to go on a vacation. That is a big situation. That's a big issue.
They want to see ticket. They want to see some people to buy a ticket to go on vacation to give to the US.
And that shows that the financial sector has broken down to a point where the government has no more claim to managing the country.
The government has no power over the bank.
But Kevin, the bank operates by a license. That license is the power that the state. The people have power over the government. The government have power over the bank. Was that?
But the bank has their money. It's their money.
I don't want to go down that road too much because it's real easy, and I understand now that I have a certain responsibility because I have a large following, not to say certain things that could cause a problem. But banks in this country need regulating.
Yes, they do.
Banks in the country need regulating. There should be rules and laws that govern the way banks operate. There should be rules and laws that govern depositors' funds, the interest that has to be paid on depositors' funds. There should be rules and laws that govern what fees banks could charge. I don't understand why it is not law and why nobody has brought it to law yet. That if your account reaches zero in the bank can then put you in overdraft, charging you fees to manage what is effectively.
And when you put money in the bank, first thing the bank does is take the money you owe them for monthly charges. I read this one, $658 million in income after tax for Scotia, 5% increase from last year. 658 million.
And Republic just did 1.2 billion.
Yeah.
Republic just did 1.2 billion, right? And that is not from loans, you know. That is from fees and charges. And you have to understand this, that all of these things, it comes back to the mismanagement of the country. All of these things need to be fixed, but nothing that the Prime Minister spoke about addressed these issues. The fact that the average person in this country now, the cost of living has evaded a lot of people. There are a lot of people in the country, more than half the population, I am told, that is over 500,000 people, who cannot make ends meet when the month comes. They can't make ends meet.
It's getting very difficult, actually. It is. I feel it personally. It's getting very difficult.
Now, Chinese have a natural predisposition to laugh and make a joke. I read a man put out a meme on Facebook. No, but a fella put out a meme on Facebook, and I swear to you, I was drinking my cup of hot chocolate, my morning hot chocolate, And this just came
Coffee.
across, I can't drink coffee. This just came across the news feed, and I literally spat everything onto the screen. Because he wrote, I can't believe this Maxi man just charged me $8 to get in the Maxi, and then want to tell me I can't eat in the Maxi. He said for $8 I could fry egg and sausage and here I paying rent.
You do that, you open my door to a whole lot of nasty behavior in the Maxi. So I understand why.
No, but
you should not be doing
but he
that.
was funny and
Yeah,
you
funny
know, but
himself.
no, but you know what you have to laugh at. You know what you have to thank God for, boy Kevin, is that Trinidadians are so naturally predisposed to have a pleasant disposition. We could find a humor in suffering, but people really catching the tail now. If you work out what $8 in a maxi taxi is one way, so that's for the day, that's $16. That's $160, $320
I was
out.
speaking to someone just now, he was telling me it's $27 a day in transportation for him.
But a minimum wage earner cannot make more than $2,500 a month. So if you take $320 out of that, you've taken 15% out of that person's salary.
After, so how much money is it for food and stuff? But yeah, let's take a quick break. Before it's 11:19, giving the time check courtesy of Crime Stoppers. Take a quick break. We'll be right back after these.
The person bringing the stand in Richard, they come down over the Christmas, I bring the camera and the stand for you. Tell me the one the other.
That stand look like it. That camera look like it working with Viagra, boy.
You need a hard stand.
Yeah,
You good?
I always good. Could take off the sign, Tessa.
Where was going? The gate in. Let's forget that we have people watching us live on Facebook.
I did miss the parade thing, but you know, I didn't get paid, so I had no money to go to the parade.
Pep and Parang, but you could have told me, Kevin, I would have sponsored that ticket.
I mean, that shouldn't be that.
No, but we said to all the members, if you're having any difficulty, contact us, and we would have made, oh gosh, man, I can't believe that's why you wasn't there.
That is why I did not come, and I had a date
Pepper,
and all I wanted to
oh gosh,
ask.
well, I hope you're bringing your date to the Christmas party. You know that there's a Christmas party here. So when you come this Saturday, you'll find out about the Christmas party, because this Saturday is the last PEP meeting for 2017, public meeting. But the Christmas party is the following Saturday. So come to this Saturday so you'll be able to organize yourself for that, right? Yeah, don't forget that. So many things that should have been addressed on that debate last night, or that media midterm review.
No, he talked a lot of nonsense.
Did he really hit on Fane?
Fame?
Did he really hit on Fane Richards and ask out for drinks? Is that
There
real?
is a clip that is circulated.
But is that real?
Yeah, yes. When I saw it, because I tuned in just at that time, I saw it. I don't know, CCN link pop open.
I just don't find the lips and the words line up. So I didn't know, because it's one of them pages kick out the PNM, so I don't put it past them to create.
It was saying live at the time for me, so I saw.
You saw that they're trying to say that during the media briefing yesterday, Keith Rowley hit on the journalists.
I'm hearing that as well. I check my
Invite.
WhatsApp, I didn't see that.
It's all over the place, but you see, because it's coming from kick out the PNM, and when you look at it, the words not lining up with the mouth, so I don't know if it's real, so I don't want to comment on it. I mean, I don't put it past him.
No, you could comment on it from the point of view saying that you look at
As
it
I
and
said,
it seems
I saw it.
unreal.
It was saying live on the iPad because it came up on YouTube or something. And
Sure, Robert, so you didn't see it yet.
look at there. Just press play. Yeah, that's it. The volume up to.
Yeah, you gotta hear it.
Hopefully you'll hear it.
I'd like to take the conversation to a more social climate. You look on social media. Well, perhaps of the non-alcoholic flavor.
And that's right after she had asked him about comparing women to golf courses and grooming. And
Well, missed that one.
and he said he was trying to make a point that women need to be taken care of. And she said, more than men. And he just rocked back. he is a kind of a Neanderthal, you know, Robert.
We
He makes Neanderthal
As I
statements.
said this morning, he had an opportunity to show the nation some class, but he decided to leave the C and the L outside. The E and the 2 S's.
Kevin just said the Prime Minister had an opportunity to show the nation some class, but he didn't bring the C and the L. That was funny.
Just went in with the A and the 2 S's.
That was you made that up?
Yes.
You'll get credit for
I
that.
said that
Well
this
said,
morning.
well said.
All right, so we get back inside the Sense and Sensibility on More FM 104.7. Robert is here. Good morning.
Good morning, Trinidad, and of course, good morning to the public service. I hope, elections is coming. We have
Trinidadians like when I come here and I'm allowed to speak, but when you are not here and we don't get into that,
bantering.
they don't enjoy the show. That the 90% of the show is that you and I, the way we,
So I have some use.
you have a lot of value.
I take it.
I have new
I
tires.
just say it.
I'm not worn down
You know
yet.
I don't take it badly.
You left him out of the equation.
Not at all. Kevin is important to the conversation. They like the exchange. What you dealing with today? Because I hope we're dealing with issues that not like I see a whole lot of paper about crime, but the real issues that need to be addressed. And I want to know how some matters get hidden below the rug, and some matters get blown up in the public space. How does Vicky Boudra make front page of the papers, and $100 million in stolen funds from Petrotrin don't make front page?
No, it's true. Well,
Who
again,
makes those decisions?
of course, the media. That's why Kevin has very sensibly included in our programming an outstanding list. You see, the problem in the country.
Kevin, you have an outstanding list?
Yeah.
I would like you to send that to me, please, sir.
Yeah, we have an outstanding list.
I would like to
now.
monitor the list.
Yeah.
How big is the list?
About 20 items now.
20 items long. Jesus
Okay, now
Christ.
okay.
This is what is outstanding to be addressed. Email gate, prison gate, Assami murder, Faris kids with guns, soldier suicide himself. I'll stop there. I will stop there.
No, you see, this is,
So-
I understand what I'm
Soldier suicide himself. No, but you're right.
Yeah,
You're right. Listen.
He broke
The
his
man
rib,
commit
he shot
himself.
himself in his head. No, he shot himself in the head. He hides the gun, and they put it on a suicide. He's still carrying the gun.
That in a nation, you can get rid of this, if it's in your way. And in a nation of some magical things, that is the most magical that has happened so far.
But you know, you were speaking this morning and you said you were proud of Trinidad and Tobago. I cannot share that sentiment with you. I mean, we can't be proud of a nation for a single.
No, I think they're growing up.
Yeah, but
I think they're growing up.
Let me
And
tell you something. You know very well, growing up doesn't take long. We are 55 years old. You have made that statement on many a
I
time.
think social media was the impetus that grew us up.
Yeah, but social
We just
media-
spoke about it.
social
Traditional media hides. Kevin could bring up his list here now and talk about it every day.
That's okay.
Without social media, how
But
you
you,
getting
but
that?
you see, again, you could have only done that if you had 500,000 computers, and I know they say they have the phones, but I doubt it very much because they say they have 1 million phones.
More than. There are more phones than people.
All right.
There are 2 cars for every driver.
Yeah, well, that is not impossible. That one is understandable.
How is that
because-
not impossible?
Because we have over 200,000 middle class people.
So yeah, but you understand that they said on the list that there are 2 cars for every licensed driver.
Yeah, no problem. The way you behaving is that we have 1 million licensed drivers.
It just seems to be an incredible amount of.
If you take that
So
and
you're
you
saying that everybody
multiply,
have 2 cars? I barely have
no,
my
I
one
said
car.
200,000 middle class. Multiply by 2 is 400,000 cars. That's to start with.
Why I said they're growing up, I meant this. That out of last night's stunt interview, first of all, it seems that not many people watched it. But that aside, they went for the sensationalism to put that information out. And that information fell flat. Nobody's taking it on. They have 2 things that we have to address. And one of those things, you see what the government is trying to pass as an anti-crime bill.
Yeah, but again, it didn't pass. So talking about it is not
Yeah,
making sense.
but this is a government that is now their track record stripping human rights. Faris Al-Rawi, the Attorney General, said, "We do not have the rights we think we have." He said that.
Well, again, you know, Philip, you and I just have to agree to disagree. the truth be told, that if he did say that, the only way for you to authenticate that
Kevin,
is to
Google that. It was made news. Look at journalists is telling you that.
I'm not disputing
You're
that.
disputing the ethics about what journalists?
No, I'm
Or
saying
resident
that,
journalists?
like I could tell Kevin, play the Prime Minister's clip there, please.
He said it last night and all too, you know.
You understand?
He said the same thing last night.
The
But
point
stop
is,
there.
no, play
he
it.
said it and he was shifting all over his seat when he said it last night.
I find so, but why he was moving around like that?
We're not hearing.
He hearing. Once he hearing, we go.
Minister of Trinidad and Tobago.
See short pants.
When I was a
You
little
played
boy-
it for who you wanted to play it for.
That's journalism.
And that's why you're
That's
forgetting it.
journalism.
I can't see it behind the screen. I didn't realize you didn't have
That's
a headset on.
journalism 101. But let me tell you something. When I was a young boy, there was a type of fabric called crimpoline.
Yeah,
Remember that?
I remember.
I couldn't wear crimpoline because it used to scratch me. And your parents don't know that it really scratching you, so they're making you wear it because they don't pay the money for it.
Yeah.
So when I wear it, I'm serious. So I wear it crimpoline, and the only way to stop the scratching is to move around in the chair. And I swear that's how he looked last night. Like his clothes were scratching him.
That is body language when you're uncomfortable saying
Yeah.
something.
That is body language
If he
when
was-
you're not
If he
uncomfortable.
was cool,
A creative person could find a backbeat and make that a dance. The man was all over the chair. He wasn't just shifting, you know.
I looked at his
He
body
was
language.
swirling.
I looked at the body language in the
Yeah.
clip Kevin just showed me
Yeah.
there when he rocked back and he said that's not a drink or whatever.
That's Don
You
Dada.
understand?
That's Don Dada. Article Dan. Melt in your mouth, melt in your hand.
as you said earlier, we don't want to waste time on that. Let us try and focus our attention, as you were saying this morning. How is it Vicky Boudram get front page, but AV Oil is still in the dark?
But Kevin's list.
We know that AV Oil, the person who was put in inside of the Senate, because of whatever relationship, because it couldn't be because the person have
Man,
the
daughter.
kind of skill sets to
Man,
make a
daughter. And the man who
contribution.
signed off on the thing is his son-in-law. We could make soap operas in this country, not one.
Yeah,
Plural.
but I will only do that if you and I could sell it commercially.
Or get government sponsorship. Some of these people has get plenty money sponsorship. You know. NLCB.
Yes.
The day they do a proper audit of NLCB,
Yeah, I think they'll find out.
plenty people have a jail to make. You know.
As a matter of fact, one promoter, I understand, got some money. I'm hearing the
People in the
Arima-
island.
Yeah, people in the island. People in the island. I'm hearing a commercial running about the mayor of Arima putting on some function in the Drome, which is the velodrome. And I don't know who's paying for it, because it seems to be a lavish kind of thing.
No, but NLCB is a source of complete slackness. And I want to tell you, anytime they're doing an investigation into NLCB, I want to point them in some directions. Because NLCB and what took place there, at least under the last government, and I understand it's even worse now, NLCB is a slush fund. It's a slush fund. They don't even account. There is a green triangle in Diego Martin. And I remember reading the first list that came out of the first audit that Eco Warriors was receiving a monthly stipend from NLCB. And besides putting up a sign on that little triangle by Crystal Stream Highway saying they maintain that, I don't know what else Eco Warriors has ever done in Trinidad.
You remember what the figure was?
It was a couple million a month.
Couple of million?
Yeah. But Anya Ayangchi was getting funded by NLCB.
But she have a right to that. She's a very popular person.
So that's what it takes. Kevin
I
is
was
a
telling
pop-
somebody this
Kevin
morning.
is a popular guy. Why Kevin not get? You get?
I'm not Anya. She's pretty and I don't have a bar and I'm not.
Are you getting?
I'm not a necessity
Do you get
and
any
everybody's
NLCB money? Is all I'm asking. Not at all. Have you applied? Did you go in there and say that you're popular? No, I want to know.
This program,
wherever they go, they invite you.
this program that they seem as if it is going nowhere.
No, we have no
So let
direction.
us pull it on track.
Give it some direction.
Let's talk about the AV oil that you started up with, because I agree with you that you cannot have an institution that is one of the major income generators for the country.
Which is the second most important commercial enterprise in Trinidad.
And that company has issues that today, almost 1 month after the issues was ventilated and confirmed by an independent source, action has not been taken. The only action that has been taken is a high-powered lawyer has been brought into the equation to represent the perceptive culpability of the company. I say perceptive because I don't have the report. Although I did see the report, and the report indicates that there is a justification in the findings. Be that as it may,
Wait. What you mean justification in the fact? That they may be fact?
yeah, because there is the tendency of the other side now saying,
of course.
It fouled.
But as I was telling Kevin, this is not an oops and a slip. This is months.
Yeah. It's not a one-off.
It's not a
It's
one-off.
for a projected period.
It's a length of time.
Yeah. And I think reliably we need to call on the authorities,
Which authority?
minister to start with, and the prime minister to follow. Because
So Christian Mute have a next inquiry to run.
no Robert Amaro.
You getting this one?
Of course. I entitled somebody money.
You see, somebody on the list in this
Listen to
room.
me. Put it
How
this way.
do I get myself on that money train?
I'll bring in another sub.
Nice subcontractor.
Yeah, that's the way you
That's
make
the
it.
way you
now.
make
You
money.
do all the work.
Networking.
You do all the work.
No,
You get 10%. I do nothing. I get 90. That has been the mode.
Networking, that's what they call it in this country, networking. They have some people, politicians and activists, that jump out on matters and they have nothing to say on other more important matters because they networked with people who hand in that.
That is members of certain political parties that wear blue colors. They have no contribution to make
Let's
at all.
interrupt a moment.
Yeah.
We're talking about privacy and what Faris did say about it. Now, while he say that we have no right to it per se, we don't have a judge suing people right now because he claimed he had privacy. To say
Not
anything
a
he
judge.
wants.
Not a judge.
Chief.
Yeah.
Not a judge. The
So
judge that
because he
appoints
has
all
right to
judges.
Yeah.
The judge that appoints all judges saying he has a right to privacy. Now, what does that mean? If the Attorney General says one thing and the judge who appoints all judges says something else, what does that tell you?
Tell you we have a real problem.
It's like Trinidad is a plane flying through the air and the two pilots in front blind.
Because it's not an absolute right.
Well, I want to tell you
They
this.
recognize the right to private and family life.
The American Constitution was amended to include something called the Bill of Rights. And Trinidad and Tobago, the Progressive Empowerment Party promises you a Bill of Rights. You see the vagary surrounding if we have freedom of speech? We want to undo all of the tenets of the Public Order Act. You ever heard about the Public Order Act?
Yeah. Under the Carl Hudson.
Carl Hudson Phillips Public Order Act is tenets of the Public Order Act that means that you have to go and apply for permission to march. In the United States of America, you apply for permission to march, you let the police know that we're having a march here, that's it, you get them the information. But nobody tell you could march or not. In a democracy, that is your absolute right.
Yeah, but in Trinidad, they still tell the police and
In Trinidad, you have to apply.
Yeah.
And they tell you how to apply and when to apply and copy to station. Those are not rights. We
Well, you
need
see,
to get back, Robert.
Discourage you from wanting to come out
And that's it. And somebody made a joke. The reason why they keep raising the price of cigarettes in every budget is because the only people who can march is cigarette smokers. They can march 2 blocks and they're blowing. He said, $2 more, we can pay it.
Trinidad and Tobago apologize to this program this morning. It's getting us nowhere. It's getting us nowhere. Philip seems as if though he has had too much water to drink.
Kevin
this
showed
morning.
me a picture of Faris wearing an orange tie again. Faris is sending signals. Faris, come over. Come cross the
Is
floor.
that going to be your Attorney General?
Absolutely not.
Oh, no. So
Absolutely
what is
not.
he coming for?
But I mean, oh God, there will be leases.
Maintain the office.
You will have, no, he is very good at
Paperwork.
sign here, contracts,
okay.
sign here. You know? And if
Automated kind of thing. Come in
you-
computer,
you
just change
do-
the name and the address and the date.
you copy and paste lawyers.
Yeah.
But you don't know, you may have leases, you don't know, that need to be entered into in the dead of night. You're good at that. You have experience in that.
I don't understand you with that. Too.
Fasting. Read
Anyhow.
about it and up the road from here.
11:36 people give you that time check courtesy of Fasad's supermarket.
According to the document, when we speak about this AV oil, I would believe that the chairman of this company must be held responsible for the actions of the company.
Petrotrin.
Petrotrin.
He was the first to go. He stood up.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the new chairman, eh?
No, but the first chairman stood up. So it get lost in the maze because falling on your sword is not necessarily the kind of thing that Trinidadians are accustomed to.
Right.
So we're not accustomed to seeing people do that. And even if you step down, they might say, oh, here cocoa. Because we don't think of it as a
So you are saying the action as taken by Jupiter was a kind of okay directional move to send a signal.
Yeah.
I ain't taking this no more.
Well, I want to tell you something. If you are the chairman of Petrotrin and something like that happens under your watch, you have to step
But
down.
not only you, the whole board.
The board should go. But then you see, the problem with that is Stuart Young and Coleman both will end up running Petrotrin. Because
Well,
that's what this government trying to do. This government has just vacated the power, the constitutional safeguards of the board and the management of the port of Trinidad and Tobago and have taken it upon themselves in the cabinet.
You know what the problem about that is worrisome is that while they have done that, they haven't fired the board.
Besides that, your prime minister gave justification in the parliament why he not firing the board. So the board that failed, you say the board failed. Because the board failed, you've usurped the power of the board.
They
But,
put it under some ministerial control.
but you keep the board.
Yeah.
You keep the board.
Makes no sense.
It makes plenty sense if down the road you're going to need somebody to blame. That board is now a Boboli board. While Colm and Stewart and Shamfa and Lee Hunt goes procuring.
And you know the unfortunate thing is Shamfa, Lee Hunt, Colm, and Stewart have no capacity whatsoever in ascertaining something that is.
The veracity of a ferry.
Well, but not only that.
How they get into the ferry business? The last time
No.
Colm Ember touch a boat, it sank.
The thing is, when we look at the situation, we have to tell ourselves we have a track record with the Spirit and the Express. There is a specification.
Well, we know what we want.
Right. But that is the long term. And that is the government of Trinidad and Tobago picking up the phone and calling Austral and saying, hello, could you send somebody to Trinidad? We want to buy a new boat. Not even go there.
I want to ask you one question. I don't mean to interrupt you, but how much is a boat like the Warrior Spirit cost?
It could cost somewhere in the vicinity of about 30 million US.
30 million US, right? I want to ask you another question. Why we don't buy boats?
No, the Spirit and the Warrior
Express.
they belong to Trinidad.
So why we don't order more?
Good. It's the same reason why the Prime Minister today went and turned the SUD in Tobago to expand the Cove power plant, which has only been functioning for maybe about a year under I don't even know what capacity. And the media that was there did not even have the depth of asking the question, can you tell us what is the efficiency output of the Cove? And the reason why I say that, Philip, is because we have invested in 2 other power plants in this country outside of the Point Lisas, which is run now by PowerGen. And we in Trinidad and Tobago are producing the surplus that we produce. So Trinidad need 100 megawatt.
And we have 80.
We have 250.
But we're paying for 100.
But we're paying for
We pay for all.
250.
And we're using 100. I get the point.
All right? So we have a situation in the country where the Prime Minister all of a sudden realizes that Tobago need more power. It's no different than we have a situation in the country where AV Oil realizes I could get away with this particular thing, so let me keep going.
Wait,
Go
but
ahead.
I want to ask something. Kevin,
Yes.
the guy, what's his name?
Dioki Singh.
Dioki Singh. What is he to Nazim Bash?
Oh,
I don't think he's anything.
No relation.
No relation.
Nothing at all.
0-0.
But he is the man.
Maybe a friend.
But he's the man who received the oil.
He's the man that signed off.
That say that we get the oil.
That say the oil went.
Yeah, he said they get. He said 10 come already, only 1 come.
No, he said 10 went. And the Petrotrin man in Exide said 10 received.
And which one of them is Rowley's friend? Nazim? Or
Yeah,
the-
Bash is
Bash is his friend.
Yeah. The man who is the owner. The
Right.
owner of AV Oil.
So
is the
on-
supposed
on-
associate or friend.
on
of-
his end, I just asking, because I'm not in the oil business.
he is
Would there be a system for you to know your inventory?
in the oil business, yes, because it's in a tank.
You have to know your
You have to
inventory.
know,
Yeah,
You have to know your
but
inventory.
you see, the problem with that.
No, I'm just asking this
Yeah, but
because
hold
you
on.
shipping stuff.
Hold on. The way that oil is put into a tank is not oil, it's oil and water.
Yes, and the water runs off.
And they're supposed to bleed out the water.
Right.
But if they transfer everything and it's gone across on the next side, oil and water,
Oil and water.
it means to say that,
But Petrotrin is supposed to have safeguards for that.
well, I don't know.
They have heavy pipe. There are some heavy systems settled. System.
No, I don't know.
But
how
the
that
point,
works.
the point I'm asking you about the inventory is this: we're still talking about $100 million worth of oil.
Yes.
So you are the inventory level. When you get your reports at the end of the day, week, month, quarter, you would find out that we generated $500 million worth of oil, and we shipped $600 million worth of oil, because you sold $100 million more to Petrotrin than you ever had in inventory. Your stocks should reflect that.
Yeah, but there's a separate. Remember, I don't know the system, but I agree with you.
That's why I asked you.
Some kind of arithmetic must.
But that's
work.
why I asked you. You must know how much oil you have.
Yeah, but if the man who is the inventory controller
On the other side,
is not balancing with the man who's the supplier, because the supplier
Yeah, but-
reporting to you,
Right.
and I reporting to Kevin, then we'll never know, because
if
it's a
you
secret.
ship 100 boxes to my warehouse from your warehouse, there are two documents that exist: the depletion document from your warehouse, the shipping document,
Yeah.
and the receiving document at my warehouse where I get it.
And that is why the private independent company could have gone in and said something is wrong. Because when they match up, they have seen that
Petrotrin has a shortfall of the amount of oil that they say they sent.
I think that is the
That was the
analysis.
problem.
I think
that is what raised the flag. That Petrotrin had a shortfall, and they realized that the shortfall was coming again from AV because AV Oil had raised flags in 2016.
Yeah.
This is not the first time this happened. If you listen to what was said in the parliament, and then Franklin Kahn said 9 times, and I counted, that this is a private and confidential document. And I want to ask Franklin Kahn, whose money does he think that $100 million is?
Yeah, it's not his. It belongs to the state.
Who owns Petrotrin?
The state.
How is this private and confidential when it is a matter of alleged criminality where the people of Trinidad and Tobago have been defrauded?
And that is where I was making the substantial differentiated point that at this stage of the game, we are only dealing with antics,
Stunts.
stunts. The stunt right now is, let us tell them that we're bringing in a foreigner. Because when you tell them foreigners coming, it's going to be okay. Then Trinidad and Tobago
No, but you
like
see,
foreigners.
exactly, because look, we bit down on Bridgemont, we bit down on the ferry. The first time I brought it in the public space was quite April, when the Supervast Glacier was still here. When we started discussing that then, but the government understands, and they use these fancy firms that will tell you, okay, let's manipulate them. Let's get them focused on Christian Mute and
Well,
talk about Christian Mute and deal with that, and we fight and we vent there. And then they say, okay, bring in something else. Show them our next bone. Let them vent here. Until we all vent out. I remember hearing a minister stand up in the parliament and say, that, I think who it was, boy? I think it was the housing minister. That is old news. $256 million missing, but that is old news. How could you say it's old news? Was somebody prosecuted?
When we come back, we'll deal with that. But I think the important thing to understand is that the country's leadership is not doing what it's supposed to do
There is
at
a
the
void.
levels
There is a void.
that are in the company side. There is a responsibility for the financial and judicial responsibility for the chairman of Petrotrin. And in the government
we're
side,
talking basic inventory. If you can't manage basic inventory flow, we're in trouble.
no, but I'm saying to you, even if we had that and we found all the things, and we know that A is wrong, the financial and fiduciary responsibility
Still
lies
lies
on the
with
chairman of the
and the
company
board.
and
They-
the board by extension, but the chairman had to lead the charge because he ultimately is the one that guides
But when
the discussion.
does this become an actual criminal investigation?
Well, again, if we
Who
can,
says?
All right, let me tell you this.
Because now they want to send it to the JSC.
Yeah, and that's exactly what I'm going to say to you before we take the quick break, is that it is going to take like the airport if we go the route we are going.
Of which airport? Piaco?
Yeah.
$100 million spent?
20 years
Nah, man.
before we get any results.
Come on, man.
Especially if the judicial...
But that is why Trinidadians committing crime on the ground. They're looking up on top and seeing the big boys getting away with crime.
But the
Crime
issue-
pays in Trinidad and Tobago.
So it comes back to the fact that unless we do not, once and for all, fix the leadership,
Absolutely.
we will forever be speaking the same language.
Absolutely.
Kevin, we take that break.
All right, here we go.
Imagine February. Turn down the Kevin. In February 2017, the Chamber of Commerce said, if all that was mentioned before is addressed and the service remains with a high level of rogue officers, it would be akin to proverbial spinning top in mud. For too many officers are before the courts, while others are convicted of unlawful killing, solicitation of bribes, theft and other crimes. Ultimately, this is the reason why public confidence is low.
The biggest carnival fan in the East at the exclusive Celine Beach Resort and Spa.
This
Bring
February.
this up now.
Yeah.
Because you know this thing with the commissioner of police, you got to address that too.
Because all
Nobody in our line.
Carnival will be there to
Yeah, who's that?
Your prodigal
What do you mean, sir? Man walking here bold with that yellow jersey, yes?
car wash is coming. One of my father here, then car wash. My father, my mother, and then our mother. The place here for the place now. Anytime I pass and look for you, but you never hear. When my price matters, I got cable from my car system around the place. I get my house down San Fernando. I go down
Thanks to
there
the
3 months
PNM.
now.
Thanks to
You
the
good?
PNM house.
You good?
So you're going to vote for them?
I did vote for them. Them is the only party in the country.
And you're wearing a big bright yellow jersey.
This is European everywhere. You never I have a phone handle anything. But if you check the PNM flag, it's a yellow in it.
Long time I telling people the UNC flag have red in it too.
Yeah.
Them telling you in plain
All right,
sight.
people, once again, you cannot forget about the biggest event coming up next year at the Serbian Nature Resort and Spa. Remember, they got Bungee Garland, Fair and Lions, Benjai, Menace, M1, sorry, Menace, and Scarface are going to be there at Stranded by the Pool. Tickets are on sale now. Also, moms, we know that there are only so many hours in the day, and most are spent hustling. And really, who wants to cook after that? Well, we've got you covered with 8 pieces of irresistible chicken for $65 every Tuesday. KFC, it's finger looking good. Right, so let's get back into
That you just read to me off air. I think you should read that into the public space because what Robert just shared with me is part of an address by the Chamber of Commerce on the issue of crime, the Commissioner of Police, and the management of the police service of Trinidad and Tobago. Robert, give them that.
We have a very serious problem. I mean, the Chamber on Thursday, February the 9th, 2017, that was like 10 months ago.
Nearly a year.
Okay, indicated, and they opened up their discussion, the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago guarantees the right of the individual to life, liberty, security of person, and enjoyment of property, and the right not to be deprived thereof, except by due process of law. Now, when you look at this situation, you have to also put a question in the mix and ask, why is Vicky Boudram still behind bars?
That's the point.
Isn't she entitled to bail as everybody else?
That's the point. And that, again, is the point. And we need to understand. But stick on this because I want you to read that last paragraph.
At the end of this, the acting cop on his 8th 6-month contract, and there are no signs that we are drawing any closer to appointing a permanent commissioner. Remember that they have gone through the process now, they have a short list.
Yeah, but before you get to that...
We were promised that we'd have a commissioner before year end. This is why they circumnavigated the process and changed the direction.
But nobody even told us what was the actual process. How did they arrive to award KPMG? with the process of arriving at the shortlist.
You behaving just like the opposition and the government, where the government say 4 years for the anti-gang government. The government say 4 years. The opposition say we'll accept 2 in the sunset, and then everything fall down because of that. It makes no difference who appointed KPMG right
but
now.
No.
That is like after the horse get out the corral.
But you still have to ask in terms of reference.
It's
Robert, the
okay.
existing lineup.
Yeah.
The existing lineup and the shortlist. The reality is there are questions now about every single one of them.
There is no dispute, but we live in a society.
Can we get to a situation where we address?
So
somebody asked me, what about merit?
So let me
what about a police officer who goes into the system? Why can't he work for 20 years and achieve all of the qualifications and experience and have an unblemished record? Why can't he aspire to be commissioner of police?
Well, I mean, there is a particular movie on television called Blue Bloods.
Yeah.
If the government administrators would look at it, they'd learn something about a commissioner.
And hire Tom Selleck. I mean, really last man.
The acting commissioner has made a clear case for administering his own budget, and it is hoped that he'll be given fair consideration. I don't understand why the chamber would write that, because he already has that power as invoked in the new legislation. If all that was mentioned before is addressed, and the service remains
police service got $2.5 billion
high level of rogue officers, it would be akin to the proverbial spinning top in mud. For too many officers are before the courts, while others are convicted of unlawful killings, solicitation of bribes, theft, and other crimes. Ultimately, this is the reason why public confidence is low. The Trinidad and Tobago Chamber is of the firm view that this must be comprehensively addressed, even if it means soliciting foreign assistance. I want to believe...
Is that the Chamber of Commerce recommending a Gibbs and Iwatsky again?
Yeah, I think so.
Do you think that was a good move when it was made?
Yes, I think so.
Do you think that is the best way forward here?
I think so.
I agree.
You see,
I do not think that Trinidad could be trusted to...
But it goes past that, eh? It goes to even speaking based on our relationship with the Americas and the British, the Canadians, the French, and the Germans, to introduce into this society some undercover people who would really be able to do proper intelligence. Because
that's it. You should give a contract for internal affairs to a foreign company.
Correct.
To a foreign police. Bring them here, bring 20 of them and tell them your job is to find all the rogue and corrupt police officers and bring them to justice.
No, but you see...
understand the culture.
No, because you see, it is too easy for people, and let me tell you, people just get vexed when I say this. But there's a reason I will never support the Caribbean Court of Justice over the Privy Council, because of the arm's length. It is too easy in jurisdictions like this for people to exert influence. It is not questioning ethics, and it's not questioning integrity. It is saying that there is a fact that you cannot have the people who liming and drinking and socializing and going down the islands with people, making decisions on those same people.
There is something happening right now in the Caribbean, because I think there are only 3 signatories to the Caribbean Court of Appeal. I think Antigua is one. And there is a big discussion going on right now of what they are saying is the unfairness as the way they see it. Because they are thinking that the Caribbean Court of Appeal is not handling the matters fast enough. The reason why we would have gone to Caribbean is Barbados, right? It would have been that they are now expecting that this thing should happen within 3 months.
What is this?
Whatever.
But you can.
Yeah, I know you can, but it is not. And
why is it not?
Because
it is not law.
No. We do not have a leader like a Lee Kuan Yew. You see, there is a big difference in the Trinidad of tomorrow versus the Trinidad of yesterday. I'm not even talking about Trinidad of
I want to ask you this. If the Parliament today writes a law...
Forget about the Parliament.
No, but the Parliament writes the law. And if the Parliament writes a law that case management in a court, 3 years for civil matters, 5 years for capital matters, and if the matter runs 1 day over 3 years, throw it out.
Yeah.
that will guide judges, because all of a sudden now judges have to look at their record and how many of your cases have been thrown out.
Well, you wait for that. You wait for that.
I am not saying wait.
I mean, we're in the month of December, right? And
are you saying the last time a miracle like this took place, people followed a star in the sky?
Yes.
I am not saying wait for
That's biblical training.
You know, that's why
you're looking for 3 wise men, and they are right in this room here, you know. Kevin, Robert, and Philip, you know.
I will accept that.
What you carrying?
I will accept
what
that.
You carrying?
I will accept if you tell me what is myrrh.
That's actually what you carrying.
Everybody know the story.
I carrying up on a ganja. What you carrying?
That is a new age Jesus. But everybody know the story, but nobody know what is myrrh. They bring gold, they bring frankincense and myrrh.
What's frankincense?
Frankincense it sounds like that, incense. Frankincense. It's incense that you can recognize easy, but myrrh.
No, it could have been Frank that was an insensual person.
And I'm going on that road with you. You're going to Google myrrh?
Yes.
So we kind of out of time, Philip, because we're almost there. But people...
But I agree with you, and I want to say this to Trinidad and Tobago, until we are in a place, and we have to take certain steps to get us to a place where we can hand over to ourselves.
So let me tell you something.
But we're not there.
There is a young lady called Rampasad, that's her name. She writes a lot.
Sheila.
I think she has a Twitter account that I follow, and I have corresponded. There was something that showed up recently about the issues of the country, and I said to her, or to whoever it was, that unless we do not get the service commissions modified, all of the things we're doing, as I tell you, forget the parliament. Parliament need to concentrate on now.
But you say the right words, but you stop just short of saying undo and redo.
Well,
Robert, we have to go back to the Constitution. How the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service is set up, and the Police Complaints Authority and the Police Service Commission, all of that is foolishness. It doesn't function.
No, it don't function.
The Judicial and Legal Service Commission, look at what's going on there. Look at what's going on.
We just appoint 3 new judges that the president was very happy to announce, and they talk so much about bringing them out of the magistracy. But we have 2 of them that still is not yet back on.
One is suing.
Yeah.
And we ended up with a lot of people having their human rights railroaded, people who had matters before the court, who was before that same one of those magistrates. And it goes to the point that these things are not working. And we cannot just continue to accept that they're not working. We, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, have to say it is time to fix it.
Oh, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Next week, people will be back. Hopefully, we'll be a little bit more productive. Today was just
I think we were very productive. We chatted a little bit. We have to fight every week.
Kevin,
thanks a lot for having me.
Incense and myrrh are both almost the same thing. They are perfumes like an incense.
Robert and Kevin, thank you for having me. To all 104.7 loyal listeners,
I just
thank
want
you
to go on
very much.
record that we are waiting on a piece of equipment from Philip Alexander that he said he would deliver. He's just like the politician. He makes promises and it seems as if he's not going to keep
Thanks
it.
a lot. And to all the Progressive Empowerment Party people who have been paying the last, Kevin, this is important, the last public meeting of the PEP for the 2017 is this Saturday at noon, 19 Stanmore Avenue. You're all invited. Come out in your numbers. The Job Seekers program is taking place at the same time. Thanks a lot.
Bye.